Ever since I switched to the Blackmagic camera app and I'm using a DOF adapter, the one from Beastgrip, I have trouble nailing focus. But I think I found a solution. I did a previous video covering the new DOF MK3, and in that video I was using the Blackmagic camera app and I complained how I couldn't see peaking. I had a heck of a time getting focus peaking to show up. More times than not, I couldn't see it even though it was on. I'm not sure exactly why, but what I ended up doing was using the zoom feature in the app to help with my focus. And that's still the case. You have to be in perfect lighting and really be in, I would almost say, a perfect situation, kind of like this shot I'm doing here with Batman, to actually see the peaking. And that presents a problem using the DOF adapter. For those that don't know, the DOF adapter connects to a cage and allows you to put traditional cinema type lenses on your iPhone. Now, this is not for everyone, that's for sure, but it is a cool look and I really like it for some shooting situations. But again, I've had trouble using the Blackmagic camera app. It's possible their peaking is just not as sensitive as, for example, Filmic Pro, which I'll get to in just a minute, spoiler alert. But I've really grown to enjoy using the Blackmagic camera app, and it's what I use now probably 95% of the time. And with an iPhone, often you probably don't think about being out of focus because it's a small sensor, and typically speaking, it's kind of a wide look, and the phone itself has good autofocus. But in this situation, you're using an adapter, and while you're combining the phone's focus, you are actually manually focusing a lens, and it can be tricky. And so let me show you what I'm talking about. I got the Blackmagic camera app here and the DOF MK3 on the 15 Pro Max, and I'm shooting Batman in a controlled lighting environment. And now in this example, this is probably the best I've ever gotten the peaking to look in the Blackmagic camera app, and you can see it on his chest. I have it set up for red, and so I can touch the screen here and it'll adjust the focus and the exposure. Now I'm going to touch the wall, and now you can see it went out. So the Blackmagic camera app is actually trying to autofocus, but it's going against what the lens is. The lens is manual focus. And so now I'm back on Batman and he's in focus because now the focus in the app is locked and I have the manual lens locked. But then I can come up here and adjust the lens. You can see how out of focus I can get him. Again, I'm using a traditional lens. And then I can very subtly finesse it. And you see that red peaking on his chest. I can hit it. But again, just to be clear, normally you can't see this peaking at all. This is, like I said at the beginning, more of an ideal situation. Not only can I see the monitor well, but I have lighting going on and the exposure is right. And I'm in a controlled situation. So this is good. But let me flip over to Filmic Pro real quick. Now I'm in Filmic Pro. And of course, I didn't touch the camera. And so the settings are exactly the same as far as the external lens. Filmic Pro, of course, can do its own exposure and focus within the app. And so I can lock exposure and I can lock focus, or I can double tap and go to the larger reticle and I can lock that. But here is where Filmic Pro works a lot better when you're setting focus. You can go to focus peaking in Filmic Pro and it turns the screen black and white. And then it also outlines the character. Now I have this set up to green to have a difference, and Blackmagic was set to red. You can change the color, at least in Blackmagic. I can't remember if you can in Filmic Pro for sure or not. But nonetheless, you can really see the peaking much better. Let me rack focus away so you can see the difference. And let me rack focus back. Let me get this out of the way. Slide those reticles around. And as a side note, that's one thing I still really love about Filmic Pro is the dual reticle. It makes the app so much easier to use. I really wish Blackmagic would add that as an option, at least give us the option to do that instead of the single reticle like the native camera app. But I digress. The main point here is you can see the peaking much better using Filmic Pro. And so what I've been doing is using Filmic Pro mainly to shoot with the DOF adapter. However, what you could do, and this is kind of a pain, but you could set your focus with Filmic Pro and then move that app out of the way and go back to Blackmagic. Although again, here you can't see the peaking, but if I'm shooting outside or really any other thing I could show you, and I'll show some more examples here, the peaking does not show up properly using the Blackmagic camera app. Now, if you don't have Filmic Pro, it is a subscription app. I have it because I used it for 10 plus years before I switched to Blackmagic, and I still like Filmic Pro, but I do find Blackmagic is a little bit better app now, and also, of course, it's free. But other apps have peaking as well. There's Cinema P3, there's ProTake, etc., that also will work with DOF adapters, and again, they have focus peaking. But these are the two main apps I use, and so Filmic Pro is a better app in my experience for setting focus with the DOF adapter. And so if you're shooting with a DOF adapter and you're having trouble with focus, especially with the Blackmagic camera app, consider trying Filmic Pro or another app and see if that helps, because without focus peaking, it's really hard to use the DOF adapter. Now, the DOF adapter does soften the image in a good way. It has a more organic, cinematic feel. However, you don't want that soft look to be out of focus, and so peaking is super important to use, really regardless, but in particular with a DOF adapter. All the footage in this video was shot in Apple Log, and I used my Apple Log LUTs to color grade. If you're interested in those, link is in the description. Thanks for watching. This is Blake Calhoun. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.